You're laughing all the way to the bank. That's what I heard. And it's because of how you invested. The seeds that you have sown. You've sown in patience and resilience. You've sown in love and steadfastness, sort of like the Knight of Pentacles. In intelligence, like the Queen of Swords. And resourcefulness, like the Queen of Wands. In faith, like the Fool. And now you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. What's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 19. Whoa. Wow, I almost said 19, as my son says. You were born in the 1900s, right? Like, get your ass out of here. 2026 is the year, Lord. And it's 4:59 on the clock. Probably just moments away from 5, honestly. That is so funny. 19, long gone are the days, eh? The golden years for some of us. Oh man. So anyway, let's see what we got here today. This could, for some, be investments that were made and have appreciated in value since the 1900s, quote unquote. Maybe since you were a child or a youngster, or maybe even a young adult, maybe coming of age, depending on where you are in life now. But certainly, I was born in 82, so I was born in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby, but I really grew up in the 90s, and that is my favorite decade. And then my coming of age, so to speak, I guess, was when I graduated from high school at the top of the millennium and went to college. So 2001 to 2006. So 5 o'clock now on the dot. So it could have been just, I'm getting the sense of just how you have a large part of this investment and managing this portfolio of sorts has been just in how you've navigated change, and maybe very intense change over this lifetime so far. Maybe over multiple lifetimes, since we're talking about decades and coming of age and timelessness, more or less. Well, I should say actually timekeeping. Indeed, that there's been a certain resilience and temperance. Restraint was another word that came up in terms of seeds that were sown, that you have curated, cultivated, and incorporated into your conditioning, that is paying off in dividends. Has paid off, but is paying off in dividends. Interesting. All right, let's see what we got. Tomorrow, Mercury stations direct. And then, of course, you know, there's the post-shadow period that I think it's going to last till about August 12th, but certainly we are all here for the direct station. To start, we can wind down as we need to or as we get to, but certainly not mad at, even though, like, I don't know, like the pre-shadow was a doozy for me, but Mercury retrograde actually wasn't that bad. It really, really wasn't. And I, knock on wood, on freaking metal, vinyl, everything, stone, everything I could think of, because I don't want to, jinx it. But it really wasn't that bad. Like, it really did call me inward and call me home in ways that I wouldn't have chosen for myself and that wouldn't have been top of my list, but have definitely proven to be necessary and beneficial, as things always are. Okay. Ooh, okay. Page of Cups. I wonder if is that Cancer energy. I'm terrible in terms of like signs, especially if it's not a major. I'm the worst. I definitely need to study more on that. But it's definitely water energy. I get the sense that it might be Cancer, but I could be absolutely wrong. So Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces. Oh, right. There's a fish in that cup, so it might have something to do with Pisces. But either way, and I don't even usually call signs, but for whatever reason, there's some specific water energy here, sensitivity to be mindful of. What is this Page of Cups offering to? Or who or what is it offering to? Because is this an apology? Is this some term of endearment, expression of love? What are we doing here? Somebody begging, putting themselves in a dependent situation or wanting to be dependent in a way. Let me see. To the High Priestess. Apologetic for grace or forgiveness? They're wanting forgiveness. For what? And is it sincere is the question. Oh, with the Four of Cups. That doesn't really give sincere to me, but let me give it another go. That gives conditional to me, or like there's some ulterior motive, or somebody's kind of stuck in a bad spot and now they have no choice but to kind of throw themselves at the mercy of grace, pleading their innocence or pleading their case to receive something in exchange. Like there's something in it for them, but hold on, let me see. Give me one between the High Priestess and somebody could be praying. But again, are the prayers sincere? And I'm not getting anything on it. Hold on, what's up? Let me just get one, Spirit. Now they're giving me mad cards. Yeah, somebody, Yes, given like somebody wants a fresh start, they're trying to get away from some lifestyle that, like yesterday, this Three of Cups energy was coming out as like debauchery, or somebody that's just kind of like been in the streets, running the streets, sowing their oats, doing their thing. Whatever they were doing, they were enjoying it, that's for sure. So there's something that has them retreating from that lifestyle or from that way of being or thinking or acting, like that behavior, let's say. Foolish behavior, perhaps, literally the fool here, that they want to retreat from, but it's still the Knight of Wands. And no wonder the Page of Cups is here. It's because it's just given like there's still a lack of maturity and accountability here. So again, like somebody would want to leave one situation for a fresh start, or for um a fresh I don't know, like I guess a fresh start, or just something new. You know what I mean? Like to move on to something new. But what they're petitioning to, like, imagine, like, really practically speaking, you come from being a little bit of a F-boy, quite honestly, to presenting yourself to a high priestess who, by definition, is chaste and let's say abstinent, if not celibate. You know what I mean? Like there's some standards there. There's some ethical code that she may follow. So it's like someone trying to maybe even flatter, or again to present themselves like harmless, or non-threatening in a way. Like again, like submitting themselves to the mercy of her grace. But there hasn't been enough time to mature and to grow up, quite frankly, for someone to just kind of be on to the next thing on this level, like, so it gives to me like somebody needs to kind of like be with themselves, or work on themselves, or pour into themselves. Like there ain't too much to be offered in that cup. Is quite distorted. Ooh, oh, I don't even like how I feel about that. With the Knight of Wands, like somebody might be trying to bring some type of tainted energy, maybe even some type of actual dis-ease or disease to someone that is not even in the market for that type of energy. Hold on, because now it's just getting worse. Or it's like after they then burnt themselves out elsewhere, living la vida loca, now here they want to come all humble, like I'm done with that life. I don't want to be a player no more. I just want to, settle down and be committed to one woman, or do things the right way, whatever. Like whatever their sob story is a mask for something, or a distraction for something else. And the moment you would get caught slipping, like literally letting your guard down with an energy such as this, who appears to be non-threatening, appears to be reformed or changed or grown up, is the moment of your own rude awakening, especially if you've been in a position to hold a pretty high standard and be pretty selective about how you share your energy. Remember, all the seeds that were sown in the beginning, somebody even could be coming because you laughing all the way to the bank, whether that's materially, financially, or just energetically having like extremely high spiritual credit. you know, doing really well in your life, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, physically. You're well contained, and here comes someone with all their baggage, with unfinished business in tow, and with a gift that keeps on giving in their midst that they want to give to you. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And it took way too long to get to that, so I know I'm on to something, because it was like even the cards were being shut up. Still, I can't even get just one. I just want one. Can I get just one, or are we done there? One more time, and then I'm moving on. And that's still too many. Look at this though. Justice and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, I'm moving on, because this is just too confirming. I'm trying to see how I'm trying to like give it the benefit of the doubt, and don't second guess yourself when you are propositioned in a way that makes you feel uneasy or even just uncertain. Go with your gut. Go with how you feel about that. And I don't care how someone present themselves. They could have the biggest sob story ever. And the largest puppy dog eyes and the biggest crocodile tears. Do not let yourself fall victim to something that you knew better not to do. The five, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody in poor health or poor wealth that is justified here. Like, this is cause and effect by their own actions, whether it was reckless behavior or the opposite of what you've been doing. Poor investment in self, poor financial investments, poor energetic investments, wasting their time and energy with folks that cannot help them multiply their interests, you know, or that actually do the opposite, that siphon it or absorb it, steal it, whatever the case may be. This is given an energy of someone that wants, like I said before, like to be a dependent was a nice way of me saying it, but they kind of want to be a parasite. And the justice is that if you allow that energy into your space, then all is fair. Yeah. There's not really much that can be said or done. There's a on the Roku TV, of which I have Roku TVs, the screensaver, right? Every now and again they change the images on the screensaver, like this Roku cityscape, and there's all these different inferences from movies in the background. If you know, you know, but it's not that important. But one thing that they have that's new, I've never seen this before, of all the years that I've had a Roku TV, they have this Trojan horse on wheels that's riding back and forth with the cars. And at first I'm like, what is that? Like, what is this horse about? Is it really a Trojan horse? So I got curious enough to Google it. And sure enough, that's what it is. And it's so random on the road. Like, sometimes they'll have cars that are clearly advertisement for whatever is going on at the time, or whatever brand is affiliated. But a Trojan horse, I'm like, that's so random. Like, first of all, it's on wheels. Second of all, why? So that just popped in my head at this particular moment. Of course, to be to be careful about accepting, you know, the old mythology about accepting the Trojan horse, that so someone could be coming presenting a gift, but like I said, it's a gift that keeps on giving and not in a good way. But they could be presenting something to you to kind of get to get them in the door, or to win your acceptance in some way, shape, or form. And it could be dangerous. It literally could be lethal. And then I probably shouldn't say this, but I am, because it also came to mind. On Insecure, Kelly says something to, I think she's talking to Issa, where she says, um, don't look a gift horse in the DICK. And Issa's like, that's not a thing. And she's like, yes, it is. My grandmother said it to me. If you know the series on HBO, Kelly was always saying some wild stuff. But that just popped in my head. That's why I laughed. But it kind of fits though, right? With what I'm saying, like, don't look a gift horse in the DICK. Like, don't do it, girl. Don't do it, because something ain't right. Something ain't right down there. I'm telling you. Stupid. And you might even like the grandmother part could be a nod to just like way showers, guys, ancestors nudging you, that inkling that you're feeling, that intuition that you're sensing is being uh intensified by those that have a bird's eye view of which you don't, in the physical form. So don't ignore it. Trust yourself and trust your instincts. You got too much to gain and too much to lose on account of one shit, man. On account of one poor judgment. Of which in this case, because starting out with the high priest, well, actually I went back, but knowing that the high priestess is the receiver of this offer, or on the other side of this communication, you know better. So it's not even a matter of being restricted or confined to only what facts you're privy to or what you can see, or no, there's an expectation that you would tap in to your intuition and to your discernment to see beyond what's in front of you, to allow your senses to align with your intellect and make an informed decision that way, not just on what someone is saying, or maybe how bad they look, or the story that they're telling, or the heartstrings that they're tugging on, or the emotional attachment that once existed, or even just you being a benevolent person, a kind-hearted person wanting to help. This is not the case for that. This is one of those times where you could put everything that you've worked for and everything that's due to you in jeopardy for not listening to yourself, for not trusting your best judgment. And it's given, like with the high priestess, that it might even be a bit taboo how you respond given the circumstances. Like, imagine a child, right, coming to you as innocently as that scenario can be, but something within you, and people do this. People will use children. I've seen it on like YouTube clips and stuff, of people using their children as bait to go in for the kill, And it's nothing new, of course. They've been doing it for decades, but it's captured. The evidence is there that people will use their children to bait you in as prey, and before you know it, you're so entangled in wanting to help a child or help someone that's innocent, or that is in need, that you don't even see how you getting snaked on the sidelines, or seeing the villain or the predator coming in for the kill. So literally with the Four of Swords here. So yeah, so it's like, yeah, the other part of that is just to be able to rest assured that your intuition is not misguiding you. And although on sight and on surface, it might be like, damn, I really feel bad that I had to say no, or I had to turn so and so away, or I didn't feel right obliging what they asked, or whatever the proposition is. Hell, even the message, like where there's a message designed to provoke you to respond, and maybe you just feel that you shouldn't, like it's in your best interest not to. Something like that too, like don't, because this could be a rest in peace or a rest in peace, if you feel me. It's given some folks is getting desperate out here to connect by any means necessary, and they are wanting to kind of like target your most vulnerable self to do so. Because some folks might know they didn't already burn the bridge. Like, they may see you thriving or imagine that you are, whether they can see it or not, and want to either come in and to see for themselves, or check in, or, like I said, find some way to connect to it or get something from it. And they know that they can't just come in like nothing, like nothing, no time has passed, because either too much time has passed, or too much has occurred within that time frame, or too much just has been done to forget. Maybe to forgive, yes, but to forget, hell no. And so it's actually their strategy to kind of prop up a decoy, in a sense, or like I don't know, like not a fall guy, but someone that can kind of come in first. What do you call it? Lower your guard a bit, make you feel sensitive, ultra sensitive or sentimental about a thing, and then pounce. Could even be somebody coming in honestly saying, just how bad they have it, or, that they are maybe even on the verge of some ultimate demise. They have an illness or a sickness, and it's terminal, or it's a dark prognosis or something like that. And it's like, sorry to hear that, but there's nothing that I can do. Somebody wants healing. That's what they want. And they feel like you might be a source of that healing, even if it's a matter of the forgiveness, or feeling absolved of their past doings, their misgivings, perhaps. That's what that's giving me. They petitioning the wrong thing. They need to take that up with the divine. Because the forgiveness and grace that you may have to offer someone isn't even really for them anyway. So even if they got what they came for, it wouldn't really have the effect that they were looking for. Like, they feel like getting a pardon, or I forgive you, or I love you anyway, response from someone might just like give them new vitality, or that energy alone would kind of like enliven them in some way. But not if the proposition was kind of jilted in the first place. You know, it's not like somebody sincerely saying, look, I'm sorry for this and that and whatever, and coming clean. This isn't even somebody that's really, as the card said, that would be even really willing to be 100% sincere. They would only be as sincere as they absolutely need to be to get what they came to get out of it. So it's not gonna, it's just not, and then that's on the nice end, mind you, because the other side of that is that somebody's intentionally coming in to kind of exchange negative energy to give you what they got in hopes that what they can absorb from you will somehow cancel out their situation or at least help it. That was the first feeling from the gate, which is why I went back. Yeah, look, Queen of Cups. Which is why I went back to see what the Page of Cups was saying anyway. Because it felt questionable. Yeah, because this is a Queen of Cups we're talking about here. Someone that has a lot of love to give, that's naturally compassionate and empathetic and kind and nurturing, loving, for God's sakes. And so it's expected almost that this would be an unlimited source of whatever, so like what someone is looking like, literally to purify their cup and to dump their pollution into yours. That's the only way it can happen, because they're not dumping that cup before they present themselves. They're presenting themselves with a dirty cup. No, no, no. All right, let me get another one. Don't let nobody make you feel, yeah, exactly. Don't let nobody make you feel guilty for not doing what they believe, or whatever, even what is second nature to you. Of course, the Queen of Cups is loving and understanding and nurturing, but she still has the right to protect her energy and to decide what that energy should be poured into or invested in, who that should nourish and who it shouldn't. It's not just an automatic, because there's a need, the Queen of Cups should just put on her cape and go, you know, fulfill it. No. And that could even be some emotional manipulation there too, where it's like, come on, have a heart. Yeah, you got all that love over there. You got more than enough. It's not going to hurt you to be kind to this person. And it might even come from inside, you know. I hope not. I hope there's not that much internal conflict to have to navigate through, but it could sometimes come from inside where it's like, damn, I really do want to help. I love to help. Helping is what I do. Loving is what I do. But you got to use that head and that heart right now. That's the safest way. And this is also given that somebody's in a lot of trouble. Like I was saying before with that Knight of Wands that seemed like they were escaping something or running away from something. They got a lot going on that has not been resolved. So it will be only a matter of time before their baggage becomes your baggage. And once again, Wands, you know, they could be fighting some type of illness, literally. In this case, to no avail, because they're outnumbered. Wow, I heard an outbreak. Child, no. And yeah, with that fish in that cup come in, throw your whole pH off, child, and some more shit. Because you'd be lucky if it's just that. It's a hell no to the no, no. Yeah, they got a lot of issues. Honestly, I'm hearing all types of stuff. They might be on the run from some folks that they already then infected or affected in a negative way. And they may have had to escape from the exposure, or had to escape before there was exposure, before people realized what was going on. Because what was that? It was the Knight of Wands, the Three of Cups, and something else. I can't remember what that third card was. I think it was the Fool, yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely some reckless behavior that was going on. Some YOLO, fuck it type behavior. Caught in the moment. Yeah, look, child. Oh, no. Yeah, they're in bad shape. They're in a desperate situation right now. Unrested, unwell, uneasy, unhinged, maybe. Definitely imbalanced. But like I was saying, though, there's still a lack of accountability here, though, from that Knight of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Fool. For all that they can only blame themselves for, they're still not in a mature position to stand 10 toes down and say, you know what? I did this. This is on me, and I need to fix it for myself, by myself, not go pawn this energy off on someone else or make it somebody else's problem, or even selfishly bring my problems to someone else. Someone that's truly accountable for their actions and has learned, perhaps even from their missteps, wouldn't even want to bring a certain frequency of energy to someone like a Queen of Cups and a High Priestess. You wouldn't even dare. Out of respect, out of protection for that energy. Even out, maybe even out of embarrassment, but that's what it's given. Like somebody is just at their wits' end right now. Like they don't even have the luxury of pride in that regard, like to not, for their pride to kind of keep them at bay. They need something, and they feel like there's only one place for certain that they can get it, or one place where they can find some type of relief, or yeah, something about relief or retreat, sanctuary, safety. Look, with the Queen of Pentacles, this is what they see. The richness of your character, of your energy. That's what they see. Oh, God. They see you got a lot going for you, a lot to offer, maybe a lot to come, a lot of seed in the ground, a lot of promise that they don't feel um they don't feel they have access to or whatever right now. Not at the Five of Cups. It's somebody that really is depleted emotionally and spiritually, perhaps on account of a physical aspect, but it could really just be emotionally, because maybe it's not a matter of a disease in a physical sense. Maybe it's just emotional or spiritual dis-ease because, like I said, they've spread themselves too thin. They've soul tied themselves to too many lower frequencies, and they're having a hard time fighting off that possession in a sense. And then, of course, here's that spilled Three of Cups yet again, where the party just ain't what it used to be anymore. There's no satisfaction in that lifestyle. And that's a hard truth to face and to accept, especially when you don't know what else can take its place, and you desperately need something else to take its place, because this is an energy where it's not enough for them to just be alone, to be by themselves, to be single, to soul search, to deep dive. That probably is probably excruciating. The silence is probably excruciating for them to be alone for too long. Their own thoughts don't feel safe. Let me get one more card. Yeah, and this is where they really need to be, tending to that wand. Finding some accountability for their own actions. Figuring out what they can do differently to move forward, to start fresh on their own. Leave anybody else out of it, because it's just going to complicate things at this point. That's what someone is going to have to learn, probably the hard way, that this is a solo mission at this point. So if somebody has a hard time being by themselves, just consider that par for the course, part of the mission, because usually it is, especially like with perhaps like the Dark Night of the Souls, what we might be talking about here is somebody going through that, and a large extent of that experience is by yourself. If not actually physically by yourself, you just feel like you're on your own little island emotionally, psychologically. The deeper you go spiritually, there's not a lot of relatability when you're in that stage of evolution and maturation, but it's a necessary one so that you can kind of get to know yourself for real. In some cases, like all over again, and reconcile with the actions and the choices and decisions that were made to put you in an unsavory place, so that you can course correct, so you can do something different, simply. Oh, wow. And at the very end, here it is, the motive, the mystery, the intention behind the proposition, the presentation, the proposal, whatever it is It's not fully truthful. There are ulterior motives, and that's the best case scenario. It might be downright deceptive and destructive. I mean, any and here's the damn wand again. Oh my lord. They trying to do some damage with that wand, child. Literally or figuratively, someone is trying to take some deceptive actions to put themselves and what they believe is going to be a better position, and even if it's at the casualty of someone else, someone else's happiness, someone else's harvest, their grace, their reputation, their peace, their stability, their heart, like their emotions, their security, like whatever it is, someone would be willing to sacrifice it, put it all on the line if it means that they could come out with some type of new vitality to create, new power to manifest with, a new, like, what do they say, like lease on life or leash on life? I never know which one it is. I think it's lease. So there it is. So just keep on laughing yourself to the bank, child. And it'll go off. Oh, it's still going. And don't feel no ways tired about it. Sorry. Not sorry. Because the energies that are supposed to share in that harvest with you will more or less come with a harvest of their own. Something to add. It's like Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? Like there are those that just go hopping house to house, eating, and don't bring nothing, or maybe some ice or something, not worthless, but minor, or nothing at all, and they're gonna take some plates, And then there are those that bring something to the table, even if it's a little side dish or a little dessert, something that they thoughtfully considered would add to the experience and to the occasion. But this is just a taker. This is a taker. This is an abuser. This person is dangerous and destructive to themselves already, and they may not even realize how much so, because it's a matter of survival mode at this point now. But I get the sense that they kind of do. They know enough to do better and to not be intentionally trying to put others in harm's way so that they can feel better about themselves or go on in some more favorable circumstance or situation. Don't be a notch on the belt for this character, because it ain't worth it. And particularly talking to my celibate or abstinent sisters that you've been holding out for a long time. Maybe that's why maybe or maybe not, but you could have years in the game. Yeah, maybe even longer than that. Maybe some of you have never indulged, and you wait all your time to finally align with someone real and worthy. You'd be devastated to waste that energy, that precious energy, on someone that just absolutely didn't deserve it and had no intentions of reciprocating its value to you. And not to mention going to leave something behind at that. And like I said, the justice of it all is that you couldn't even, you could be mad, you could be hurt, but you have the power of choice and discernment. It's all on you. Because the worst case scenario is somebody that's just going to force themselves and intrude on your energy and space, and then the justice will handle that one way or another as well. But I'm talking about putting that way to the left or the right, you know, whichever way is out of the way, and not projecting that truth whatsoever to come to fruition. We talking about having the power of choice here on both sides, but particularly as the receiver, to just guard your heart, guard your chastity in every way, shape, and form. You know, guard what is precious to you, guard your harvest. You hear me? Enjoy yourself until you are absolutely sure, without a doubt, that who or what is before you is worthy and worth it. And that would have to be a confirmation from the divine itself for it to actually stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for me. You know, you do what you do, but for me, there would have to be no room for doubt whatsoever. And then I'm still gonna double check and triple check and take my time and fill it out and be for real and all of that. Like, it's been too much time, too much care, consideration, devotion to self, dedication to the divine, to just squander that all away, especially for any fleeting passion or fleeting feeling of satisfaction in spirit or in flesh. All right, so thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Y'all be safe out there. Until next time, as always, I'll leave you with peace.